Hello and welcome to another episode of the Contractor Growth Show. My name is Mark. I'm your host. And today I'm speaking with Tyson Van Dyken at 406 Construction in the Gallatin Valley there outside of Bozeman. Tyson, thank you so much for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, so it looks like you guys have got a great just kind of community. We've taken a look at sort of your Facebook page. I see that you guys are doing a lot of great work. I see that you're doing a lot of, it sounds like you take a job as big or small, right? It's no job is too small. We're working with anyone that may need our help. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about the history of the business and sort of what you guys are up to today.
Yeah, so I started in late 2018. I'd been a superintendent and PM before that for multiple companies and was traveling up and down to Big Sky, which is about an hour to parts of it are about an hour and 45. Our kids got to the age where I was missing out on sports. I was missing out on things in their lives. My wife's business was at a great spot. So yeah, just jumped in. Have been in the construction industry here in the Valley my whole working career, almost 25 years now.
Wow.
It's got to know a lot of people. And that first year in 2018, it was pretty much all just me. I worked for with past construction companies. I built a couple houses for a guy and he gave me a first chance and built a guest house for him, me and my two cousins actually. And then it's just taken off from there. Every year we've had substantial growth. We build everything from guest houses, shops to multimillion-dollar custom homes, which is more our niche, is a custom home industry. But yeah, so we got started there.
Amazing. So you guys do interior remodels all the way up to brand new complete builds and also maybe additions as well?
Yep. To be honest with you, remodels are probably, me personally, my least favorite. I've got a guy he's been with me for quite a while and he enjoys remodels. So last year we did 2 remodels, full house remodels. One was on I think it was 1918 is when the original house was built.
Wow.
And had a couple additions that the grandfather had done back in the 50s. And so it was
lovely.
Yeah, it was quite the house. When we started tearing into it, it's one of those, you don't know what you're going to find. So I prefer to tend more towards the new construction and the custom side of things. But we do some remodels, additions. Yeah, a little bit of everything.
And is it you prefer the new builds and the additions over remodels because of that quality of you never know what you're going to find and you're trying to quote this, then you get into a wall, you got to rebuild something?
Yep. Since I've started my own company and just going off of the 2 companies that I worked for before starting my own, that open book accounting is very important to me. And just something in my own head, remodels, you can give a guesstimate on what you think what you think it's going to be. I hate going back to people and asking for more money.
Oh, man,
it's just remodels. Obviously, you tell them up front that, hey, I think this is what it's going to cover, but we just don't know until you get in there. Even concrete walls, you may not see anything on the outside of the foundation, but you start tearing into it, and on the inside of the foundation, it's all become part of the insulation because it's just dust in there. Yeah, just remodels, they're tough for me mentally to just wrap myself around. And yeah, I really enjoy the new construction and the creativity that comes with it.
Interesting. Man, I talk with a lot of construction business owners, a lot of really smart people. And a lot of times what I've noticed is that they pivoted from something else in their life to get into construction. And often it's an interesting kind of gig that they were doing before. And for instance, they left a career in finance to start a construction business. And I'm always interested in that because it makes me think that they had a certain insight into starting the construction business. It's weighed against these other great options that they were doing. And they really intentionally chose that business. I saw that you were in pre-med, correct? At Montana State in Bozeman there? Yeah.
Yep.
And so you were thinking about a career in medicine, obviously high level, some serious school, and that's a serious career path. But you had went along and did some other things and eventually chose, obviously your wife, and you talked a lot about this, she's got a business as well. This was a very intentional decision. How did you choose to get into this construction business? Were there numbers looked good? Was there something lifestyle about it that works really well for you? I assume that you really thought about that a lot.
Yeah, so it's a funny story, actually. Yeah, I was in the pre-med. I actually took a year off in between high school and college and worked construction during that time. And my wife, we got married fairly young, and when I did go to school, she was flying through it. She got her accounting degree in 3 years, and the fourth year, she had her master's degree. And pre-med, I've always liked helping people, and I thought that was the career I wanted until I got that year into construction, and then while I was even going to school doing construction then. And it just dawned on me that I don't think I can sit in an office all day every day and not be outside. I always loved working with my hands. So it just started from there. I took some time off from school and to be quite honest, med school and with everything pre-med, you're at least 8 years. I was working on the 11-year program probably. And then just taking that little bit of time off, I realized that it wasn't the path for me. I loved construction, the challenges of construction every day. You have your plans and you always have a good plan when you start the project, but things change. And every day something's different. I really thrive off of the challenges of the day-to-day challenges of just not knowing what's next, or an owner saying, hey, I know we just put the foundation in, but we decided we want to, instead of just half of the house being a basement, we want the whole thing a basement, and just switch like that. So I really do thrive off that. And it's made me fall in love with construction, and just being able to be outside. And obviously now with my own company, I don't get to be outside as much as I would. I don't get to work with my hands anymore.
Right. Still spend a little bit more time in the office than you want.
Yeah. And I tell people all the time, I even tell clients, the thing I hate the most about my job and about being my own boss is the time I have to sit in front of the computer, but it's a necessary evil that has to be done. So
that's great.
Yeah.
So you talked some different places and even mentioned a little bit before, and I really get the sense and believe you really like helping folks. And it seems like in some ways, maybe your construction business here, you've been able to have some opportunities to really help out folks. You've got some huge projects happening, but it seems like you have an emphasis also, like there's no job too small, we'll help you out. Any stories come to mind, not to put you on the spot, but I mean, over the last 7 or 8 years that you've really helped somebody with a construction project that you guys had, whether it was someone who maybe needed to wait on payment terms, or maybe it was a project that no one else would take on, or it was a thorny little project, anything that stands out is like, man, we really helped those people and they were really happy about it.
Yeah. So even I started about 3 years ago with a couple in the Gallatin Valley here that they had a lot. They really wanted to build on it. Interest rates started going crazy. Build costs here started going crazy. And so they felt like they couldn't afford to do it at that point, to build a new construction home. They had a current small house that was an old house. And so I just brought up to them, I said, hey, what do you think of if we just remodel your house? And they just talked briefly about, I don't like remodels. They're in their 60s, great couple, known them for a really long time. My wife actually went to school with their niece. And so we worked with them, got them to an architect. And instead of being in that $1 million price range, we completely remodeled their house for about $300,000. And
well,
it's an amazing little house now. And
that is
they
awesome.
They made money off the whole thing just because they saved so much money. So we tend to do a lot of things like that. I'm not here to, I tell people all the time, I'm not here to retire off this job in 5 years. I'm here because I enjoy it. And I really do enjoy working with people. It's by far my favorite part of it, is working with the clients. Partially why Custom World is what I got drawn into, is just because there's so much face-to-face, even if it's with the owner's rep, or it's more people oriented over commercial or some of the other construction industries out there.
Man, I love it. On this project with these guys, instead of pushing for them and saying, maybe we could leave out a couple of things, but you guys could still build a $900,000 house, or just pushing them for that larger ticket item would have brought you more money. You suggested something else. Hey, look, let's just take a step back here. Let's work over here on this much smaller project for you guys, but it just was fit in with what they needed right then, and took care of their needs. And potentially in the future, if they want to build a house, they're going to be probably long-term relationship clients with you. Not that's what you're doing that for, but it's just a great way to build your business and to put out the goodwill into the community that way, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And I really do go off of honesty is a huge thing with me, and just with my family, and just if there's a way to help people and save monies where they can be, we really do shoot for that and look for those solutions so that it makes it feasible for everybody. And the great thing about that those clients is they're actually happier with staying in their house they are, and they never even thought about remodeling their place. They got to stay in town. Their lot was about 15 minutes out of town, and like I said, they're an older couple, and so they still shoot me messages to this day, just thank you that for coming up with that solution, just because it's made their life better. They're closer to their friends. They're just, everything's walkable instead of having to drive everywhere where their lot was
Oh,
at.
I see.
Yeah,
That's
so
great.
yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. You guys, you're busy. You've got kids. Sounds like the kids are growing. It looks like your daughter is off to college now. And do you have another
Yep.
child?
Yeah. So we have 3 kids total. Our oldest son is 22. He worked for me. He loves working with his hands. He has since he was a little kid. He's loved going to job sites. He really loves heavy machinery. So he actually worked for me for a couple of years, and then didn't go to college, which is he knew and we knew from 8th grade on in school. He's very smart and got great grades without trying at all. So we knew college wasn't his path.
Yeah.
So he went straight into the construction world and helping me for a couple of years. And now he moved about 2 hours away. He's still doing construction there, but met a girl and they're doing amazing. So it's cool. And then our daughter, yeah, she's a sophomore here at Montana State, and she's actually in kinesiology. So she's going the sports medicine route.
Oh, okay. Amazing.
Yep. And then she runs track up there, is on the sprints team. And then we have one more son who's a senior in high school. And he's definitely on I tell him all the time, he's got upper management written all over him. He's not afraid to speak his mind, which is awesome. He's not sure quite yet what he's going to do. He's thinking kind of the medicine world as well. But yeah, so he's just a senior year, and he says he wants to work for me for the summer just so he can learn construction so that when he gets married, he can do the things around the house, is his words.
I love it.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. And then Tyson, I saw that it looks like you guys like to have fun. You saw some great fishing photos, land a big old rooster fish down in Cabo.
Yeah.
You do some fishing. Anything else you guys do to break up the work world and get out and travel, and any other hobbies you have?
We've always loved, as a family, especially my 2 boys, they're huge hunters.
Oh, okay, great.
Montana it's for the lower states here. It's a mecca for everything hunting, big game, small game, everything. So they're very into that. I used to hunt quite a bit. Time and just as life's gone on, I've gotten away from it a little bit. I still enjoy the outdoors a ton. When our kids were a little bit younger, we camped all the time. We've not necessarily got away from camping, but we still go. We have a surf boat, so we go surfing as much as we can in the summer times. I'm an avid golfer, so I try to golf as any of my free time that isn't family time or even is family time. Our family likes to golf. And then my wife and I, we love to travel. So most of our traveling is to beaches, because Montana, everybody knows Montana is, we can have 12 months of winter. It's about not too long ago, it snowed in July.
Wow.
We do love to travel. It's Montana though. Summertimes, I know I just said it snows in July, but summertime in Montana, it's really hard to beat. So we tend to not travel in the summer, but wintertime we like to get away and go on some trips and enjoy beaches, fishing, golfing, and just kind of seeing the warmer climates in the winter.
Fantastic. The last few questions here. 406 Construction, are you guys, it sounds like the business is growing mainly by referrals. We always love to see that. Has grown an amazing business. Do you do any other outreach at all, or any other kind of advertising?
No, I haven't. I started my career here and have just got to know a lot of longtime business people here, and just grown purely off of that. That very first job that I got as 406 Construction was a guy that I had worked with in the very first company that I worked with. So we had built him 3 houses, and 2 of the houses I was the superintendent / PM on. So we had a very good relationship, and just knowing him. And I actually saw him at my old boss's funeral, which was very unexpected. He was not quite 60 years old, and had a heart attack. And so this client was there as well, just kind of paying our respects to him. And he said, yeah, I was actually talking to him about building me another place. And he goes, I heard you were out on your own. Would you be interested in doing it? And so I said, yeah, I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but if that's how you feel, yeah, I would love to. And so it started from that, and yeah, just word of mouth. And I think just a lot of just being in the valley here for as long as I have. Yeah, I grew up here. There's not a lot left of actual lifelong Montana people that are around here. Yeah,
not a lot of locals.
Yeah, not a lot of locals, but which is a great thing. It's helped my business. It's helped my wife's business. Growth is a good thing. So yeah, that's it. It's all been just a referral off of, I haven't done any advertising at all.
That's amazing. And then when you say growth, I mean, are you guys all at a stable, is your business 406 Construction like stable place? We talked to some companies who are like, we're just exactly where we want to be. Or are you still in growth mode of wanting to grow 10, 20% a year?
Yeah, I would say I'm at a spot right now that I really do love. It still gives me the flexibility to be able to go out and visit job sites where I still have the time, because for office wise, it really is just me. I'm bidding jobs. I'm still running a couple. I get most jobs started from dirt work to about framing stage. It's a good question, because really the growth, especially here in the Gallatin Valley, the labor part of it is so hard. There's a lot of great guys out there, but there's just they're with their long-term companies.
There's shortage of high quality labor.
Yeah, very much. And even skilled labor. And then even just down to guys that can sweep the floor. It's very interesting. The last
shortage of all kinds of labor.
Yeah, exactly. And especially in the last couple of years, really since COVID, it's been very hard to hire. And for me, just with that quality and that we have and that I expect, it's got to be the right pieces. So yeah, I've got 2 superintendents and then a couple guys that can really do anything. And then I've got a great young kid that he's learning fast, loves to be outside. And so interesting question. I think I could grow more, and I think I would like to grow more. It's just finding those pieces that fit and to be able to grow more. This year we have 7 projects that will be going throughout the year. So we're pretty much at capacity with what we have right now.
I see. Great. Yeah. Awesome. Fantastic. Tyson, this has been excellent. Still great to hear the story of 406 and hear a little bit more about your family and just you guys' way of approaching business. I love that you're really focused on honesty, that you're focused on honesty in your family. That just means so much to me. And for listeners listening to this, that actually is something I wanted to bring up. Tyson mentioned that honesty is a really key part of like his sort of perspective in life, in business, also in his family. And I get the sense just from the stories that you're telling, that is a really important piece of how this has all come together, that at the center of the values, at the center of the business are about honesty, and that's radiating out, and people can really trust you when you're on at their property, on their job site. And anyway, it's been a great interview. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge here. If folks want to get in touch, where is the best place to get in touch with you?
We do have a website. It's got all of my email, phone number, everything on there. Instagram, Facebook, they can DM me on there. To be honest, my website it's there as a placeholder. I haven't touched it in quite a while. I thought it was going to be an advertising tool, and we just haven't needed it.
Sure.
So I have been thinking about reamping that, and probably will here in the next couple months. But yeah, people can reach out through me, through my email, through even calls, text. I take the time for any phone call that comes through, or try to, and then Instagram, Facebook are always great.
Fantastic. And so that website is 406 Construction.
Yep. .com.
.com. 406 being the longtime famous area code of the Gallatin Valley.
You're right. Yeah. And it's crazy just even to get that company name. When I started, people are like, how? And I was like,
how did you do that, dude?
Yeah. Awesome. I said, my wife's an accountant, so she just watched. And there was a guy that had it, and he was inactive for a couple of years. And you've got 30 days. Mark this on your calendar, because I know that name's not going to stick around. Somebody else is going to snag it up through the state. And yeah, away we went. And the name itself is honestly, I think, a big portion of how we get jobs, just because everybody that comes here is, oh, the 406. And they're like, 406 construction. So it's been great. Yeah, just the name itself has been great.
That is fantastic. All right, guys, well, head on over to 406construction.com and check out what Tyson's up to if you want to get in touch with him there. If you're in Montana, in the Gallatin Valley or surrounding area, and you want to talk about a remodel or a new build, or potentially maybe a remodel, a new addition, or a new build, get in touch with Tyson. Tyson, thank you so much for being on the show today, and we hope to have you on again in the future.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. It was great talking to you.
Okay. All right, buddy.